This video is sponsored by DoubleCoin. Visit doublecointires.com for more information.
Welcome back to Fleet Equipment. Thanks for being here. Come on in. Have a seat. Sit down. I'm Kevin Linger. This is On the Road, and we have no time to relax because we are getting to work. Medium-duty trucks, specifically work trucks and vocational vehicles, cover a lot of ground, both physically and metaphorically, when you're looking at all the applications they can suit across our industry. So how can a company handle all of those different needs, whether you're looking at market trends and uncertainty, new technologies, or just plainly what the customer wants for their specific job? To get some insight on that, we're going to a big name in the game, JB Poindexter Co, specifically their engineering branch, to see how they can handle all of this. We want to welcome in Jacob Larimore, COO of EAVX. Jacob, first off, what is EAVX's role in the larger JBPCO portfolio?
Well, thanks for having me, and happy to address that question. So EAVX is the centralized engineering group for all of JBPCO, including our recent acquisition of DBCM. So we essentially act as the R&D or advanced engineering group, doing the early market research, the assessment of where the space is going, understanding all of our customers' needs. And ultimately what we're after is finding those white space areas, those problems that need to be solved in the market, developing tailor-made solutions, and carrying that development all the way through to production for new products for all of our business units.
Yeah, and in such a broad space like medium duty, there is a lot of needs to be met, a lot of applications in that space. So I imagine you guys have a lot of work. How is EAVX and JB Poindexter Co helping vocational fleets adapt truck bodies for increasingly specialized applications? And how do you balance customization with scalability?
Yeah, that's the line that we always try to walk. The reality is the customers in our space need specialization. The jobs that they do are unique. The vehicles which they use for those jobs are their tool, they're their work site, they're their office half the time, right? And so we have to really be cognizant of those needs and keeping our ability to meet those customization needs intact. At the same time, they're also looking to us to enable their scalability, right? So we're constantly looking for the commonality between not just the chassis that we work on, but across all of our brands as well. You know, Morgan and Morgan Olson build on essentially the same chassis. So how do we identify the commonalities between these platforms and turn those into wins for the end customer? That's one of the big advantages behind JBPCO being as large as it is, that we can really look across the broader scope of the space. You know, most of these fleets are operating mixed use types, right? Mm-hmm. So they don't just all buy box trucks, for instance. Most of them buy vehicles built by almost every brand under JBPCO. So it's really up to us to figure out where those commonalities are and pass those benefits along to the end consumer.
As a fleet buyer, as a fleet or upfit buyer today, you're navigating price swings, part shortages, and lead time uncertainty. So what advice do you have for fleets trying to build supply chain resilience into their truck spec and upfit strategy?
Yeah, this is, I don't think, ever been more of a concern for everybody in the process, whether it's the OEM, the upfitter, or the end consumer. It's a huge problem in the market right now. And I don't really see that that's going to wane for quite some time. There's a lot of ambiguity in the economy and the supply chain. The best advice I can give is to have upfront and early conversations. We can't mitigate the risk associated with the procurement of a part if we don't know it's in demand, right? We don't know necessarily that the market is going to swing one direction or the other. We can't plan for this impact. If we do know, then we can start to work with the supply chain earlier on and try to package protect for these things, both from a development perspective and from a procurement perspective. So the more conversations we're having with the fleet owners, with the owner operators, the better.
EAVX has talked before about being a technology and innovation hub. So what are you seeing right now as the biggest driver of next generation vehicle design, and how are vocational fleets responding to that?
Well, quite frankly, we haven't seen a lot of significant product development in this space for quite some time. I think we're on the cusp of it. And I think that's being driven by listening more so to the end consumer and what their needs are relative to safety, efficiency, productivity, ergonomics, right? These are the areas that we hear the most that we need to improve on. And the integration of technology is core to that. It's convergence of telematics, lightweight materials, ADAS systems, advanced driver assistance systems, using data-driven insights to help shape the vehicle design. So one of the things that we're really interested in doing here is having conversations with the end consumer, especially the person who is operating the vehicle, in conjunction with our industrial design team, so that we can understand the real problem areas and turn those into functional designs, right? We need to have a design language which encompasses these kinds of user feedback first and foremost, rather than simply designing a tool which is a brute force method of getting the job done.
A quick aside based on that, is this more of what is being brought in right now is the feedback and the end product of what works, and less, I know it gets a lot of attention, but less on alternative fuels?
Yeah, we spend a lot of time on both subjects. Alternative fuels, we've worked significantly with just about every OEM out there that's producing an electric chassis. We've done a lot of work on hydrogen fuel cells as well. So far, we haven't seen that the market is fully accepting of those applications. I think that time will come, and we're prepared for it when it does, where I would say we actually have quite the leg up based on the work we've done so far. And that has really been a key focal point over the last 4 or 5 years. It's been the hot topic in the industry. I do see that that's shifting lately, I'd say over the last, year and a half. We're here to respond to what the market needs are. Right now, customers are coming to us saying, what we really need you to do is address these other topics around safety, efficiency, ergonomics, and that's exactly what we'll do.
Recently, JBPCO marked its 40th anniversary and has a strong emphasis on integration. So what does that integration look like for brands like Morgan, Redding, and Master Rack?
Yeah, this is a big milestone for us. It's a really big testament to John's foresight into the industry, right? I mean, he started buying companies in this space 40 years ago. And today what we have is a major corporation, the largest in the industry and in some aspects in the world, in this space. And, I know not everybody sees how things happen internally to JBPCO, but I think most would be surprised at how tightly connected all of the groups are. EAVX has been a core component of that from a development perspective, and we're actually going to double down on that. So we've made the decision to take EAVX, it's a standalone business under the JBPCO umbrella, and actually fold it under the JBPCO parent corporation, to really create a focal point of product development for all of the JBPCO brands. So we're really trying to tighten that up even further. Like I talked about before, finding the commonality across applications, across customer needs is really going to be key for us moving forward, both to improve the experience of the customers, to improve their efficiency, but also, like we talked about a little while ago, to mitigate supply chain issues as we move forward.
Yeah, that's definitely going to be a big concern. And strategic acquisitions may have started decades ago, but they continue today with the announcement of the recent acquisition of Demers Braun Crestline Medix, bringing emergency vehicles into the JBPCO family. How do you see EAVX contributing to innovation in that very highly specialized, high stakes segment?
Yeah, we're really excited about this. This is a huge move for JBPCO and the industry as a whole. We really swung for the fences here, and I think we knocked it out of the park. So this is a whole new segment for us, and just like I've been talking about, our knowledge and understanding of the market segment that we've been playing in so far. I think I'd be remiss if I didn't highlight the fact that we don't know that other side of the market, right? We're new in this space. But there's a huge amount of commonality here, right? These two industries are connected by the need for highly reliable platforms, highly durable platforms, ergonomics and safety, right? In fact, those are, as you pointed out, a higher stake segment of this market than anything else. Emergency vehicles have to be the most reliable and safe vehicles on the road. So I think, that's part of our DNA from the JBPCO perspective before the acquisition, and we're going to bring a lot of that knowledge into the DBCM. But I expect this is going to move the other direction, probably even to a larger extent. We're going to be learning from that team over at DBCM about how they build their vehicles, the things that are important to their customer base, and we're going to find whatever we can to bring those learnings into our current products.
You kind of touched on this next question a little bit earlier with using feedback in your development. But what kind of data insights or system integrations are vocational fleets asking for most? And how are you delivering that without overwhelming the drivers or the speccing process? How are you aggregating all of that to get the best product out?
Yeah, so you used the word "or" in between data insights and system integrations. That's where I would say we have to make a correction, right? It's it's not "or." So what we want to do is find actionable, simplified insights from that data, and then take action directly on the vehicle so that we're not overloading the fleet operator and, most importantly, not the driver, right? So we should be doing that analysis on board in real time with the systems that we employ, and then take action to simply do the task that the data is telling us, right? That's the key here. So I think that's where we're focused right now. All of these fleets have the same issues here. They want to understand payload. They want to understand the vehicle health. Driver safety metrics is a big one as well. We can consolidate all of that information into a single dashboard, but we can also, I think, take action with respect to a lot of these things, take some of the cognitive load off of the driver. That's our main goal.
Another thing you mentioned was future-proofing your efforts to stay ahead of different trends. How can fleet managers also join in that, whether it's talking alternative fuels, autonomy, or ADAS safety systems? How can they future-proof vocational specs without committing to a trend that may shift 5-10 years down the line?
Yeah, this is a tough one, and I don't know the answers yet. I think this is a lot like buying stocks at this point in time. Diversifying your portfolio is probably the best path moving forward, creating some safety net. We don't know what works best yet. I think we have to try these things out. The onesie twosie trials are really, really important for us to understand these things. What we're trying to do to support it moving forward is to develop a centralized digital backbone for the vehicle, right? That allows us to at least accommodate the large suite of different trends that are coming at us at the moment. Ultimately, the trials of some of these new technologies in the field are going to be the final say, right? The end customers have never minced words when they come back to us and say, this really works well for me, or get this thing out of here. I don't want it anymore, right? So we're going to start to see, I think, real quickly, probably over the next year or so, what things start to stick. If anybody attends NTEA Work Truck Week on a regular basis, over the last 4 years, we have seen an absolute onslaught of new technology at that show, really changing the way that we look at work trucks. But I would also say, especially in this last year, we started to see a significant consolidation of that technology. We're starting to see what is valued and what is gimmicky, right? And we'll be focused on what has value.
Yes, yeah, we've got all the mugs from Work Truck Week. You're absolutely right. Yeah, there is plenty there, and it aligns with what in the larger heavy duty space, the messy middle. We've got to try out all these different fuels, and for a long time we're looking at multiple fuels in their own specific application until maybe one reigns supreme. But for now, there are ways to find out what could work for you. There's testing, there are people to talk to, consultants. And I'm sure JBPCO is staying on top of all the trends with how much of this is based around, no, we need to listen to customers. That is the bottom line. Is there anything you'd like to leave those customers with before we wrap up today?
Give us a call. I would love to hear your insights, to understand what your pain points are. The EAVX group is here and established specifically for this reason. So we want to know what it is that you guys need, and we will get to work on finding solutions.
All right, you heard it. Thank you very much, Jacob Larimore, for taking the time. We really appreciate it.